Recall there are two different classes and also there are a few different levels. The severity of the recall will then give you an understanding on whether this is considered a class 1 recall or class 2 recall. So most of the time when the suppliers or the manufacturers doing the product assessment, they will be able to tell whether the defect is serious enough, whether it will pose some life-threatening situation to users. So if the manufacturer know that the defects are actually life-threatening, serious, for example in cases like non-sterile injections where the injection is supposed to be sterile because it is injected into your body, or for products that are contaminated with toxic substances or something with major labeling errors, those are actually considered class 1 recall. For class 2 recall, it can be something as minor as a typo typo errors in the product packaging, something very minor. And the recall level, it can be a consumer level, which means users down to the patient itself. And if you are in a consumer level, it will actually involve your wholesalers, your retailers, everyone. Okay, level can also be a wholesaler level. That means the the pharma company like Zuellig Pharma, they're actually the wholesaler for GSK, for example. So this recall, they only need to recall back product from Zuellig Pharma instead from Guardian Pharmacy or Watson Pharmacy or from a customer. These are wholesaler level. So if a recall is only limited to the wholesaler level, normally it's least serious, and I would say is definitely class 2, but most of the time it will be a class 2 recall. Retailer, so retailer they will involve pharmacies as well, like those Unity Pharmacy, Guardian Pharmacy or Hospital Pharmacy. Alright, this is in between. The seriousness of this recall is actually in between a consumer and a wholesaler level. So as you can see from the table here, both recalls, be class 1 recall or class 2 recall, require the company to issue this dear purchaser letter. So in this dear purchaser letter, later I'll go through with you some of the essential informations that need to be recorded down in the dear purchaser letter. But now I would like to share with you more on the timeline on how long, within how many days you must actually issue out this dear purchaser letter. So for dear purchaser letter, if it's a class 1 recall, as you can see here, the company to issue it out within 1 day of recall commencement. For class 2 recall, company is required to issue the letter within 3 days of recall. Okay, and for class 1 recall, normally the recall process must be completed within 1 week, and for class 2 recall, it must be completed within 3 weeks before the supplier or the manufacturer can issue out this dear purchaser letter to the customers or to the relevant stakeholders. They must inform HSA prior to the recall. That means before the recall, they need to inform HSA that there will be this intention that they are going to recall this product due to certain product defects, etc. This must be done before the recall. This is the same case for the class 2 or class 1 recall. So these are some of the essential elements that you need to put it inside the product recall letter. The first one is the targeted recipient. Normally you will be able to see dear doctors, dear, depending on the products, or dear healthcare professionals. So depending on the products, the letter will then contain those information that are most relevant to them. Later we'll go on to the purpose of the letter with the product identifications, the level of recall, the class of recall. Of course, you then need to state down the batch number, the expiry date, and the dosage form of that particular affected products, because sometimes the product recall are only limited to a certain batch, not every batch. Alright, the descriptions of problems and potential health hazards, and most importantly the instructions to the customer what you should do. and also the company contact number. In the event of some emergency situations, some of your customers might need to contact the company, so you need to put out this company contact. This dear purchaser letter will then be sent to HSA for documentation purpose. In order for you to send this kind of letters, or you do need to get approval from HSA. So for product recall, you can also go to the HSA website for more information. This link will actually show you all of the recall products, in Singapore. Alright. However, the recall products here, we also cover the Chinese proprietary medicine, some other health product like medical devices. And do note that the recall products are only the affected batch unless it's otherwise stated.